Hello and thank you for coming to my new video. It's going to be about GitOps practice. Just before starting, I want to thank you for supporting me in this journey. It's like about 300 subscribers, just I hit it yesterday. So I'm pretty happy for it. Yay! So yes, I know people have 3 million subscribers, but for me 300 is good number. So yay again. And I've been working on booking some talks on different meetups and the groups. So my first talk is going to come up in 13th of May. So please go there, and I invite you actually to come there and join us. It's going to be 1 hour completely about GitOps. So this video is going to be just the introduction to GitOps. I have another video, it's about Argo CD. That's like a tooling that we are using for GitOps. But that session, that meetup is going to be completely about GitOps. I'm going to post that link in the description. So looking forward to see you. Yes, that's news, 2 news. And now let's go to GitOps video. Okay, about GitOps. Maybe we can start from like the history of GitOps and from where it's coming from. Let's go and see how they were working beforehand. There were like developers before and operators working like in different silos. And DevOps came in and like brought the revolution of DevOps that basically like brought developers and operations together. So to form DevOps. DevOps can be a practice, and also sometimes they call a group in the company as DevOps. So DevOps group in the company, it can just do the CI/CD pipeline, like building and all those things, up to like production. Or in the most mature kind of like practices, what they do is just they have a platform team. There is another video that I have, it's about platform teams. That's what we are doing currently in our company. So what they do in the platform team, basically we maintain the infrastructure and like the whole infrastructure, but we do not like go into like developers realm, or we do not do the operations. So it's just developers, they are doing their job. We just maintain the whole stack to make sure that it's working. For example, we bring in new practices like GitOps. So it's working like that. But what DevOps says that developer should do building, packaging, and testing, and deploying their own code. So that's the way that Netflix is doing it. They are believing in freedom and responsibility. So they give developers the freedom to do whatever they want, and also they are responsible for deploying their own code. But from the other hand, as the Kubernetes came into the scene, nowadays it's harder and harder for developers to really like pick up those like new practices on like nitty-gritties on how to work with Kubernetes. And also, it just, for us as the DevOps, it took a good amount of time to get used to Kubernetes. We don't want the same learning curve for developers. Plus, we are seeing a lot of problems, like probably you built a new cluster and it took you 1 week, 2 weeks. You want to build another cluster, new 2 weeks? Really? Like, I know the manager said that you should have been automated that one before. I'm like, nah, that wouldn't work. So we need a new system. So GitOps is something that is going to bring you that new system. So how will GitOps work? And now I'm going to I think it's the time that I should bring in the slides. Yes. So what GitOps work, it's like that. We are having like developers that are committing their code. It goes inside the pipelines. Probably here we have Jenkins. So it goes through Jenkins, and then it's Jenkins does some kind of building. It pushes the image to the repository. And also we have another repository, the repository for GitOps. And we just push the code in there or push the new configuration there. For example, we tell the system that there is a new image coming in, and we change a file in that repository. So basically what happens in that repository, we are taking or recording everything that is going to be deployed on Kubernetes. So for example, you have YAML files, deployment files, configuration files, all of them. Even like Helm charts, we are putting it in there. So we are putting everything in that repository, GitOps repository. And we have Argo CD inside Kubernetes. So Argo CD is like application installed inside Kubernetes. It's acting as our GitOps agent. So Argo CD either is going to connect to the webhook of for example, your Git repo. If you're having Bitbucket, you can have like your own webhook, or GitHub also the same. So it connects to the webhook, and every time there is like a code change, this Argo CD finds out about it and then goes in and pulls the code in and then applies the code to your Kubernetes cluster. Also, you can add to that Argo CD some kind of functionality that if the sync was successful, it's going to update a Slack channel to tell you that, yay, your code has been deployed. So that's the way that it works, like totally together. Argo CD can work with different clusters. Basically, you install it in different clusters, and it can work with different repositories. So you can bring in some code from one repository, other code from another team's repository. Basically, if your company is practicing microservices, Argo CD is one of the best tools for implementing for GitOps. So looking at this architecture, what are the benefits that you are seeing in here? So one of the first things that you can name it would be like reliability. So basically, if you can see what's happening, and there is like GitOps agent that is going to install it, and it's always like that GitOps agent that is installing it, and you don't have any human interaction in any place in this journey of the code, basically you're minimizing the human error that almost always happens, although people say that it's not there. So when you're minimizing the human error, you're sure that your code is going to be deployed. So you're going to be reliable. The second thing that we are going to have in here is resiliency. Resiliency means that if you have failed, you can go back. Actually, it's to the point that Argo CD has completely automated it. So if your code is not working for any reason, Argo CD is going to roll back automatically for you and have the working version on Kubernetes. That's another yay. We had a big problem with this one. So if you deployed your code in Kubernetes, it had some kind of problems, and also you haven't implemented the rolling updates, then probably they would call you and say that there is an issue in here. So that's another good thing about it. The third thing about it that I really love is visibility. So you can see what's happening, what has been deployed on the cloud. So the other day, one developer called me and said that, oh, there is an issue like this. I'm getting some kind of like certificate error. I'm like going in and saying that, oh, you have enabled it, but you shouldn't have enabled it because your code currently doesn't support it. That's easy. You can just debug it just by matter of seeing the code, or the code is going to show what has been deployed in there. So that's giving you the visibility, and also it gives developers the visibility. So when you make the whole process easy for yourself and developers and even like other people in the company to debug, they are not going to call you, and probably you can go and sit by the beach and have your beer. Yes, or tea. The next thing that comes with it, and usually the senior executives, they love it, that is auditability. Auditability. Basically, you can audit your system. So it's like that. If there is any change happening to the code, any change that is like according to the deployment that is happening to the Kubernetes cluster, you can just find out by seeing inside the repository. You can track down the changes to developers or the person that has changed it. If there is like a push or like commit to that repo, you can find out who has done it. Or if it's like developers by CI/CD, you can find it out again. People love this because it will help them regarding compliance and like SEC or GDPR. So they really like it, or other security compliances, privacy or security compliances that they are out. And the last one is disaster recovery. And so imagine that your cluster goes down. It happens with the cloud providers, IBM, Google, or Azure. It happens sometimes that the cluster goes down. At the end of the day, they are 99.95% uptime. So they have some room for error. So still, your system is down. It's not their problem because they're fixing their own systems. You should bring up the new system. When you have all the code in one repository, you can just bring in another Kubernetes cluster, probably with Terraform, bring in another Argo CD, probably again with Terraform. That takes about 10 minutes. And then just connect this repository to your Argo CD app, and voila! New cluster is up in 20 minutes. The next one that I like is self-service for everybody in the system. So it doesn't matter from which department of the company people are coming from. They can go in, deploy their code pretty easily. Argo CD has a nice UI that you can go in and click, so everybody is comfortable with it. Either people are coming from architecture, DevOps, security, or anything else. Even like we had an example that documentation people were coming in and seeing the system and saying that, yeah, this is how we should write the documentation. Yes. So everybody can do it in the self-service. Again, less calling you, more joy for you, more time for you. Although managers usually find a new priority to take your time, but still you have time to dedicate for them. And the good thing about it is there is no more kubectl doing in the cluster. You can take the permission from all your users. So no ugly kubectls to the cluster. Yes, that's a wrap up of kind of GitOps. That's introduction to GitOps. If you are interested to hear more about it, I have another video. It's Argo CD that I'm implementing it completely in the, I can say, manual way or like practical way. And also you can join me in the meetups, even if like you are seeing this video after the meetups has happened, because we are going to record the meetups. I'm going to put a link of the meetup recording in here. So if it's before 13th of May that you're seeing this video, go there and register for the meetup event. And if it's just after it, it's okay. I'm going to record it and put the link in here. Okay, so by that, thank you and have a great day. Bye.